Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and whoever's watching from all of our different parts of the world. Lovely to see you today. My name is Kerry Dupree, and we have started off the show at Tembe Elephant Park in Maputo with a lovely big elephant bull having a mud bath on this fabulous Friday afternoon. Lovely sunny day to have a mud bath for an elephant, I must say. Anyways, just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience. You can watch us on our app, or if you're watching from the website, don't forget to register, send your questions, let me know what you would like to see today, or any topics of interest. Join in the conversation. You can scan the QR code on screen now or head over to X, and don't forget to use the hashtag at Wild Earth to join us today on this fabulous Friday, which we are also doing a Feathered Friday challenge today. We're going to see how many birds we can get on this lovely Friday afternoon. Coming in at bird number 1, we have a woolly neck stork. It looks like he's also gone to two woolly neck storks. Look like they've also gone to enjoy in the elephant mud bath, maybe pick up on some insects that might have been disturbed in the mud wallow. It's a nice sunny day today in Tembe and across South Africa. We've got some lovely sunshine. We've had a bit of a rainy week. It's been some scattered showers throughout the week, a bit of overcast days, but lovely to see that the sun is shining and everything is looking lovely and green. So Amakala also started their day off today. Unfortunately, the sunshine didn't quite reach the Eastern Cape. So Amakala started off their sunrise safari today with a lot of mist, but it was very beautiful to see all the zebra and giraffe in the misty mountains of the Eastern Cape. I hope that the kind of weather has warmed up a bit for everyone over in Amakala, but looks like the sun did come out, and with a bit of sunshine they had a lovely sighting of the three amigos this morning on the sunrise safari over in Amakala. Alrighty, what else do we have around today? What feathered friends can we find? So I know there are some white-faced whistling ducks that have been hanging around in this little section of the pan here. So it looks like our little white-faced whistling duck friends that might still be around. Mercedes Ben, thank you for joining us today. I hope you can help me with some bird ID and catch out some birds I might have missed here and there. So, yeah, I think we got our... What have we got here? Did have some warthogs yesterday, so maybe if we're lucky we get some warthogs. African jacana. Also looking for a little bit of a breakfast snack. Lovely to see a few big elephant balls around. Maybe if we're lucky later today, we'll get a few more elephants coming down for a drink, or maybe we'll get some nyala. Little African jacanas, always quite busy little birds, I must say. They'll probably be feeding, looking for some insects, or feeding on some kind of lava just above the water there. Any kind of little crustaceans of any sort. Oh, he's got a friend. So it looks like it could be two individuals. So yeah, I love the African jacanas. Very beautiful bird with that blue shield on their face. Very long legs. Very distinct color, the jacanas, with that beautiful chestnut and a bit of white on the neck. It's quite interesting, the mating system of the jacanas. So it's quite unusual that the mating system kind of consists of one dominant female, which maintains a harem of males that fight for her affection. Yeah, our white-faced whistling ducks looking like they are getting comfortable in the reeds there, chilling in the sunshine. Shame these ducks are probably rather excited to have a little bit of sunshine after a few overcast days. Spasiankov, thank you for joining us. I know you are very good with your birds and your birding, so please feel free to assist me if I have missed any birds here and there. Sometimes there's a lot going on. You don't always see all the birds. That's all happening. So we've got two African jacanas. It could be a juvenile then as well. And of course our white-faced whistling ducks. Perfect habitat on the other side of the pan here for some nyala. And yesterday we did have some impala that came down for a bit of a munch on the nice fresh green grass around this watering hole. I don't know where our elephant friend has gone to. I know elephants do like hanging underneath this tree here after having a mud bath, have a bit of a sand bath, rub against that lovely big tree. Just having a bit of a scan, a bit of a pan. It's almost like we're sitting in a hide with our binoculars and we're scanning around, looking to see. Maybe we find some larks here. So open areas, maybe some plovers. I'm dying to see our little pied kingfisher. I haven't seen him around Tembe for some time. Whoop, what do we have there? He just flew up on the left-hand side. Could be our kingfisher. There we go. Hello, little friend. It's been a while since we've seen our little brown hooded kingfisher. So he's probably swooped down to catch up an insect or a grasshopper for a little, oh, it's lunchtime snack. Brown hooded kingfisher, just trying to get a bit of focus on there. It's a bit difficult. The branches in the way. He's got something in his beak there. Wonder what he has caught. Shame, sorry folks. Looks like a beetle of some sort. So kingfishers do feed on quite an array. Brown-hooded kingfishers will feed on an array of different kinds of insects, crickets, beetles, grubs, even worms from time to time. So how cool is that? Our little kingfisher made a kill. Have a black-backed puffback calling in the background, as well as some sombre greenbills. What have you got there, little guy? Isn't he beautiful? So one of my favorite kingfishers has to be the grey-hooded kingfisher, grey kingfisher. Let's have a look. See, very beautiful bird. I do love the woodland kingfishers, also very beautiful, very loud sound. And then, of course, you get the tiny little kingfishers, the malachite kingfisher, pygmy kingfisher, and I am dying to see, hopefully one day, a white-bellied kingfisher. In West Africa, there's a lot of really epic kingfisher species, including the shining blue kingfisher, which makes a very loud squeaking sound as it flies above the water, very, very iridescent. The chocolate-backed kingfisher, which is one of my favorite kingfishers. If you haven't seen a chocolate-backed kingfisher, go and give him a Google. I was speaking about the grey-headed kingfisher, also pretty cool. Blue-breasted kingfishers, also a intra-African migrant, does commonly occur in the jungles of West Africa. Another favorite, of course, giant kingfishers is the biggest of the, all the kingfishers within the kingfisher family. Feeds on much larger fish and prefers to hang out in more open rivers, so quite wide river sources, in order to catch big enough food. So I believe that you guys also had some really good birding on the sunrise safari. There was a pretty cool sighting of a tawny eagle, and of course I just heard that Steve, sorry, our director today is Chulu, and he just let me know that Steve had a really cool sighting of a woodland kingfisher this morning. So yeah, pretty cool to see the woodland kingfishers are back. So woodland kingfishers are actually migrants to southern Africa during the rainy season. So typically from October to April, they do breed, and the abundance of insects during this time provides ample food for raising their chicks. So yeah, during the non-breeding season, they do retreat to northwestern or tropical regions in the sub-Saharan Africa region. So that will be in kind of like West Africa, Congo, Central African Republic, Gabon, all those kind of Central African countries for the dry season. And this is when they do inhabit mostly forests, woodland edges, and this is where they will be hunting for food. So yeah, it's very much a very woodland. Uh, the name kind of very well describes its name. Woodland kingfisher does like to hang out in very thick wooded areas, and on the edges of forest, whereas a blue-breasted kingfisher is very shy, very elusive, likes to hang out in the dark depths of the forest. Catherine, thank you for joining us today. What are my birding goals today? Well, I think we've done pretty well on life bird list for live at the waterhole. I'd like to get some new species coming through, maybe some migrants. Yeah, woodland kingfisher would be pretty cool. But yeah, if we could get some new migratory birds coming through to some of our locations, we'll check out the camera at Stony Beach, see if any penguins are around. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think just some and migratory birds would be lovely to see them starting to come through. All right, folks, let's go head over to one of our other locations and see what the wildlife is out there waiting for us. Welcome to Lintore over in Kenya, folks. Let's just enjoy these baboons here. See what mischief they get up to, shall we? Have a bit of a quiet moment to watch the entertainment that baboons provide. Baboons didn't hang around for too long, did they? Baboons over in Kenya do look rather fluffy. There's chakma baboons coming through to the watering hole for a midday drink. Just staring in the background does sound like we've got some starlings, possibly also some firefinches, waxbills, and could actually be some Aquilia. Alrighty, well, since our baboons have disappeared, why don't we head across to Juma, see how Juma looks after all the rain. So I believe Juma's had quite a bit of rain recently in the last couple of days, and it has surely started to change in color. We were just watching the camera. Yes, we're just checking out the Juma cam before the show started, and I commented to Julia that, wow, Juma is looking lovely and green. Yeah, and the pan, Gowrie Dam, even has a little bit of water inside. So we had a Cape Glossy starling that just took off just now, as well as a red-billed hornbill. These impala sure are looking delighted that the rains have arrived, and I'm sure all of the females are really large and ready to pop out some little impala babies. So I just got a comment through from Catherine. Um, Definitely need to put the chocolate-backed kingfisher on your list for West Africa, white-bellied kingfisher, as well as the shining blue kingfisher. So if anyone is ever going to West Africa, those are the three kingfisher species I would definitely suggest putting on your list. So yeah, we were just chatting about kingfishers and awesome kingfisher species that one definitely needs to see. I know that in India and Asia they have some very interesting kingfisher species. There's actually quite a few kingfisher books. The one is almost like a Bible of kingfishers. And I promise you, this book must weigh at least 6 to 7 kilograms. It is massive, and literally has all the kingfishers in the world. So this tree is a perfect tree that I've actually seen the tawny eagle perching on. So I know they had some cool sightings of the tawny eagle this morning on Juma. So just having a scan to see if there's any other birds out there. And we have the puffback, black-backed puffback vocalizing for us. What else is out there? Can't believe how lush and green it is at Juma. Just last week it was not looking as fresh and green, so nice to see they've had some good rains and the weather's now rainy season is upon us. Gotta love those days, rainy days with rainy season, with those clouds building up, the dramatic skies, and then of course the heavy downpour. All the migratory birds coming around. Oh, this looks like a marula tree. All right, folks, let's go check what's happening at one of our other locations. This is one of our locations over Mauritania, over in the Pilansberg Nature Reserve. So we have a young elephant bull coming down for a bit of a drink. We had a blacksmith lapwing that also was just flying into screen as we changed over. I don't think it will be quite warm enough for a mud bath at this time, but maybe if we're lucky, this elephant bull will give himself a splash. Look what else is in the tree here. Lots of spider webs. Looking very suspicious. Or it could be weavers' nests. I know some of our locations, the masked weavers are super busy building their nests. What else is happening there? Lovely acacias. Nice to see the acacias will start sprouting their green leaves. I'm sure the elephants are going to take full advantage of that. Oh, but yes, and it does look like a masked weaver's nest. Only one, which is quite strange. I wonder where the other weavers are. So generally, masked weavers will nest in colonies. So sometimes it takes one individual moving to a new location in order for the rest to kind of move, and sometimes maybe the location might not be quite fitting or suited. That can result in other individuals not following suit. Like we did have at Tower Lodge, there was also a weaver's nest there at Tower Lodge. There was a weaver yesterday getting very busy building his nest. Um, but I don't think that was quite the appropriate spot. Even like this spot could be quite easily accessible by predators. So I feel like some snakes could try and get in there. Or, yeah, it's not the most fitting locations. Often these weavers will make their nest just above a water source or watering hole of some sort in order to provide safety. Oh, there we go. So there's a water hole just underneath there. Just going to have a bit of a scan, bit of a pan, see what else is bobbing around. For now, it just looks like we've got our blacksmith lapwing. Oh, we've got two of them each side of the watering hole. I know this is a popular spot for guinea fowl. I've often seen the helmeted guinea fowl around here. Lots of vegetation. It's been munched on by some elephants. Some fresh elephant dung. Must say, I do love the sound of these blacksmiths. They do sound very much like a blacksmith tinkering away in his workshop. Let me play the sound of the blacksmith lapwing for you. And you can get a really good idea of where it gets its name from. Oh, looks like love is in the air with the blacksmith. We had quite a cool encounter yesterday. There was a blacksmith that was feeling very confident in himself, and yeah, he was chasing a poor three-banded plover. Poor little three-banded plover didn't stand much of a chance. Sure, it was at Tau Lodge. So yeah, interesting to see those lapwings, blacksmith lapwings actually mating. Because I thought that they had already had their chicks in September. So I was just checking up here. So generally, the nesting season for these blacksmith lapwings is between August and April. So again, peak periods for nesting can be October and February. So yeah, kind of probably depending from region to region, might they could have different nesting peak seasons in different areas. But yeah, generally they'll build a nest on the ground near water, like riverbanks, wetlands, and dams. The nests are generally very simple scrapings in the ground, quite pretty eggs. Anything normally three eggs. They'll have 2 to 3 eggs at a time, and they're normally very well camouflaged into the ground. So both parents do share incubation duties with the blacksmiths, and the incubation period is anything between 26 to 30 days, where the chicks which hatch are precocial, meaning they are hatched instantly, ready to run and protect themselves and follow the parents while they take care of them. So I recently saw crowned lapwing chicks, which was very cool. All right, so why don't we head across to Rosy Pan, folks, and see what's waiting for us at Rosy Pan. How precious is this cow elephant with a little tiny baby? This elephant's probably just under about a year of age, maybe anything between 9 to 10 months. Looks like these elephants have come from very far, covered in dirty brownish mud. Maybe we're lucky to get a whole herd coming through. How cute little baby elephants. So we had a question coming through about elephants. So seeing as we have elephants now, it's pretty fitting. Ask from Lesedi is asking where elephants are mostly found in Africa. So obviously the main habitat of elephants is primarily savannas, grasslands, and woodlands, but they can adapt to different types of ecosystems and different types of food sources in order to survive. So yeah, the different regions that and countries that the African bush elephant occur in, obviously Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Angola, Zambia, Mozambique, most countries in southern Africa. So The kind of key habitats would be the Okavango Delta, Kruger National Park, Wangi National Park in Zimbabwe, and obviously Kafue National Park in Zambia. Perfect places for elephants to occur. So within East Africa, of course, you get in Kenya, Tanzania, um, and all the way into your forest elephants in Central West Africa, in your DRC, obviously Cameroon, Gabon, um, Brazzaville, Congo, and Central African Republic is where you then get your forest elephants. So these African bush elephants are classified as endangered due to threats such as habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict, as well as poaching for their ivory. So generally the areas that they do still occur in are protected areas like national parks or transfrontier areas or transfrontier cross-border transfrontier parks. And these parks do play a very crucial role in helping to protect and in helping with the conservation of these incredible elephants. The magpie shrikes calling, very melodious and happy in the background. I guess they're happy that it's a Friday. The weekend is almost upon us. But everyone's dying for work to be finished today so they can enjoy their weekend. I think the magpie shrikes are already enjoying their weekend. We did have a pretty cool sighting here yesterday. Some little dwarf monkeys, which was quite awesome. I must say, the two little dwarf monkeys that came down for a drink. They were very shy. Den site close by, but I know that Taylor did have a pretty awesome sighting the other day. Taylor and Gerrit of little dwarf mongoose with a giant plated lizard in their termite mound, or in kind of sharing their communal living space, which is rather unusual. I've just seen all the pictures. Very, very strange to have dwarf mongoose and a little plated lizard living in the same place. I think there are even some pictures of one of the dwarf mongoose grooming this plated lizard. So, yeah, nature is incredible and does surprise us every day. Shucks, maybe the dwarf lizard is having an identity. The dwarf mongoose are accepting this identity crisis lizard into their family. Same as Sherlock, the hyena that also tried to adapt himself to the pack of wild dogs. I'm sure that can happen in wildlife. I mean, humans can have identity crises, and sure, animals can as well. Just having a bit of a scan while we enjoy listening to those magpie shrikes. Still looks a bit dry here in the Olifants region, so I hope they do receive some rainfall as well. All right, folks, why don't we head across to Victoria Falls and see if we can catch the vulture feeding time. Alrighty, so we are here at Safari Lodge in Victoria Falls, and it should be almost the vulture feeding time at the vulture restaurant here. So generally, same time every day, they come out and feed these very hungry vultures. Although I don't think the vultures in most southern African countries should be very hungry at this moment, because there's definitely a lot of food to go around. Yeah, We watch as the vultures start coming in the droves, locking in, waiting for their lunch. So yeah, while they do the feeding, I'll probably just keep quiet and we'll just have a quiet moment to just watch the vultures being fed. Yeah, it's quite active, quite busy, lots happening. Awesome to see the interactions of the vultures. And yeah, just keep an eye out for. I would love to see today a Cape vulture would be awesome. So a lot of the vultures we're looking at now are the white-backed vultures as well as the hooded vultures, which is down in the right-hand corner of our screen, a lot darker with the two white spots on their chest there. So yeah, keep a lookout for the Cape vulture, quite a bit bigger than your white-backed. And a lot more white coloration on the body and on the wing bar there. So yeah, hopefully we get some marabou storks that look like they are coming in as well for a bit of a lunchtime snack. And maybe we'll be lucky and see some warthogs coming in as well. Sometimes you get anything from 20 to a few hundred vultures that might come in here for the feeding. The vulture buffet has begun. Hope they are dying to come in here for some food. Look at them circling like sharks. Oh, it's crazy how busy they are, all fighting over bits and pieces of food. Surely is a scavenger's world out there. These vultures need to manage to keep up if they want to get some leftover pieces of food. What an epic sighting there must be. I'm trying to count these vultures, but it's not proving to be too easy. But there must be easily close to over 100 vultures that have all come down to feed at the vulture restaurant today. How epic is this? Harriet Hodgins, thank you for joining us from Cape Town. I wonder, are you having some windy weather in Cape Town? I hope that it's nice and warm, windy, and not too cold, windy Harriet over in Cape Town. And cities then, I'm excited about feeding time too. Wasn't as much of a scurry as it normally is. Sometimes there's quite a bit of a scrap. There are a lot more marabous coming in that cause a bit of politics with fighting here and there. Praying for some warthogs to possibly come through. I've seen some warthogs fighting over little bits of meat with the vultures before. That was pretty epic sighting. Not seeing any kit vulture, unfortunately. Mostly our smaller, darker vultures with hooded vultures and lots of white-backed vultures. Hearing a pearl-spotted owlet calling in the background there, which is pretty cool to hear. Little pearl spotty. Joanne Miller, I agree with you there. Some days definitely seem to be a lot more vulture than other days. Alright folks, well, why don't we head across to Tower Lodge and pop into Tower and see what's happening over in Madikwe. Oh, it looks like a little family of Egyptian geese. How cool is that? And some black-winged stilt. How cool. These are some juveniles. They look like they're probably at least 2 months old already, which again is quite unusual. So I think the kind of peak period for these Egyptian geese. I know when I was in Juma earlier in the year in February, the Egyptian geese had some chicks there at Baobab Dam, but I know generally the birth kind of hatching season or nesting season for the Egyptian geese is generally from September to about February, March. So now these guys look like they're a couple of months old already, and they're glad that they've survived to this stage, because generally one breeding pair of Egyptian geese might only be successful in raising at least 2 or 3 chicks. So I know that family of Egyptian geese that we were following at Juma, I think they started off with 5 when we first saw them, and I think only 1 or 2 survived. So yeah, lots of predators for a young Egyptian goose out there. And of course, these Egyptian goose are mostly grazers, so that's what we can see them now, is feeding on the grass on these islands, but they do also love to feed on little grass seeds as well. The common moorhen has come to join the bird party here today. Coming in at bird number 6B, our common moorhen. So we did get quite a few birds on call while we were at Victoria Falls. The buffalo weaver, pearl spotted owlet. There was also a red-rumped tinkerbird, and as well as the buffalo weavers. We've got some battises that have been calling as well. Chin spot battis. See this Egyptian goose on the right hand side feeding on some grass there. Generally, these Egyptian goose are only found in pairs or family groups, but as soon as the youngsters are kind of big enough to go off and kind of survive on their own, generally about 3 months, then they will pair off and start breeding on their own, or surviving as big Egyptian geese in the world. They'll generally split off and go and look for a mate. Oh, it looks like we've also got some zebra here at Tower Lodge. I saw there was a youngster here the other day. It's a little foal. Only seeing adults here, so it possibly could be the stallion on the right hand side here. Generally, a harem of zebra comprises of one male and anything from 2 to even 5 females, with a few little ones. Still looking pretty dry at Tower Lodge. I guess they have not received much of the rains thus yet, so I hope the rains will head up to Madikwe for some rainy season. Got a nice few impala roaming around as well. Do love seeing the accessibility here. So we have had, hartebeest. So we have had a few sightings of the red hartebeest here. So people see the hartebeest at the Tau Lodge, coming for a drink at the pan. And normally there's a herd of wildebeest hanging around in the open areas. There we go, there's our wildebeest coming in for a drink. Sure, a lot of these female wildebeest will also be quite large, also ready to drop their babies in the rainy season. I'm sure they've come from a very long way in order to find water here. As in the dry season, a lot of the water and watering holes will dry up, not giving much access to water for all these animals. They sometimes do have to move very far distances in order to find water. So check how fast these wildebeest are moving. They must be very thirsty. The blue wildebeest, or also known as the brindled gnu. Very unusual looking creatures, especially this youngster. The like, look at the youngsters, they're rather strange looking. So their muzzles are quite black, very shabby. Of course, they have that erect mane of theirs. Very strange, flat and flat and square kind of nasal palate, as well as that very prominent hairline um, down the nostrils and kind of the center of the face. So very unusual looking animal. Not surprised that the wildebeest made it into one of the ugly five. And like our little zebra friends over here, they're very beautiful. Love zebra. Love their kind of stripes, and they're a lot more symmetrical, and this is their little foals, very cute. The water does seem to have come up a bit. Yes, they've had a little bit of rain, or they possibly are pumping this pan a bit more because the water level definitely has raised here, but I don't see much change in the vegetation in the last week or so. So I'm guessing they're probably pumping this pan with a bit more water. It would be nice to see our crocodiles. I know we had a pretty cool sighting yesterday of some crocodiles over on one of our cameras in the Olifants, or in the Olifants River. It's pretty cool. What are these wildebeest looking at? We've got a pretty good question here from Joy. Thanks for your question about zebra. So Joy is wanting to know if zebra have an intense mating season like impala do. So now the answer to your question is no. So zebra don't really have a strict mating season. Of course, they are capable of breeding year round. Gestation period of a zebra is pretty much very similar to that of a horse. It's about 360 to 365 days. So they can breed and mate year round. However, the timing of their mating can vary depending on the species and, of course, environmental conditions and obviously stress levels and availability of food. Yeah, and when the mating does take place, what will happen is the males will often start fighting quite a lot, trying to cause mayhem amongst the females, split up females from other males, and it's kind of almost like a pirating system. So for me, it's very similar in the social structure of gorillas. The gorillas and zebra do have a very similar social structure in that the males try to steal females away from other males. It can become quite aggressive and quite violent. In primates, especially gorillas, it generally doesn't kind of result in physical violence. More gorillas are very violent with trees and breaking things and branches and logs and throwing things, lots of vocalizations. Whereas with zebra, unfortunately, the males can become very aggressive, can kill foals of males that do not belong to them. And even females sometimes have been killed trying to protect their foals. And zebras, yeah, takeovers can be very aggressive. And then, of course, once a male has taken and stolen some females, he will then mate with those females in order to have his own young. So it's kind of similar how lions are the same. If you get a new pride of, a new coalition of males that take over an area, the male lions will often kill any cubs within the area that do not belong to them. This forces the females to come into season, into estrus sooner, to another generation. It's a animal world can be quite rough out there, I must say. But yeah, I do much prefer the dominance display in. Sorry, folks. Looks like we had some interruption with our camera there. We are over in Ukukuyu, over in Namibia. See what else is gonna pop out. I think we have, it could be a pied crow that just landed on the far end of the pan on the right hand side. Not much movement here. Beautiful sky, beautiful clouds though, lovely reflections. It's a pied crow. What else do we have? Could be a blacksmith. Lapwing, also close to us on the side of the pan. Very quiet today. Hopefully we'll have some oryx or some springbok coming down for a drink. Otherwise, it's a beautiful view to just look at as well. There's our pied crow going off. Praying that Namibia does receive some rainfall. It looks like there could be some cumulonimbus clouds building up there to the left of the screen. So those are those nice big puffy fluffy clouds that hopefully will bring in the rains. And this could be some barn swallows coming down for a drink. They are birds of the rains or the rain birds. So a lot of swallow species in many African cultures in southern Africa, so Zimbabwe, South Africa. These swallows are known as the rain birds, so they bring the rains. Again, they're just migratory birds that are moving with the season and moving with the rains. It is pretty cool how they do arrive just before the rains do. So it'll be our first migratory bird for the day, barn swallows. We have a grey heron, black-headed heron. Oh, a little grebe to the right-hand side of our screen. A little grebe there. Shucks, could barely even see him. He blends in super well. It's a little grebe or a dab chick. Very cute little water birds. Oop. An antelope there of some sort. Could be a springbok, maybe. Well, obviously, in Namibia, the most common mammals that we do see at this location is obviously lots of elephants from time to time, oryx, springbok, giraffe every now and then, zebra as well. Oop, there's two dab chicks. Cool. So it's normally a better sign if there's two seized objects are generally always in pairs. If there's one, I always kind of worry a bit. And we could have to the right hand side, there looks like there's also could be a darter of some sort of, no, more like a cormorant. Looks like we could have a cormorant, which is pretty cool. And also having a look out for any cory bustards or corans would be cool as well. All right, it's a bit quiet here, folks. So why don't we head across to Olifants River and see what's happening down on the river? Oh, we've got some more baby elephants. I wonder if any of our viewers can tell me what bird is calling. So we've got a bird calling now. I'll find and play the call for you. Oh, look at this baby elephant having a nap. So I've got the call of the bird that was just vocalizing. I'm going to play it for you while we watch these little baby elephants. Aren't they cute? So if anyone has any idea on the call that I just played that we also heard while listening to the hippos, please feel free to go across to our Twitter or X. Don't forget to use the hashtag and send through your comments. So it is a bird that's associated with water, and also with the hippo calling was quite fitting because generally you will always hear that sound around water sources, rivers, dams, streams, and lakes during the day and at night. I think he's even on screen right now. And we've got some hippos. Oh my goodness, hippo out the water. Check at that. How cool. A little baby hippo and a few sleeping in the sunshine. We don't see that very often, so that's pretty cool. Look at this little one. Oh, and got some red-billed oxpeckers and some grey hornbills calling. What a cool sighting is this. Hippos out the water. Shame you can see these hippos, their skin is scratched and scarred from many, many years of living in aquatic environments. So it's very crazy to see hippos out the water during daylight hours. You can see those oxpeckers will be there trying to pick at any ticks or parasites. Unfortunately, they can be a bit of a nuisance as well, keeping wounds open. So it's quite cool in that hippos produce this liquid that excretes from their skin. So it's called hippoduric acid, or also known as hippo sweat, and it acts as a sunscreen, two, an insect repellent, as well as an antiseptic to heal all those nasty wounds of theirs that they get in the water, possibly again from just bashing and into vegetation, can be from fighting as well. Yeah, especially the big bulls, you can see they have a lot of battle wounds. So, Gary, thanks for your question about these hippos, if they like this particular spot. Yeah, so hippos will generally have portions of river that they do prefer. Pods of hippos will generally claim a particular spot in a river that might be perfectly suited for them. So hippos, they can actually swim pretty well, but they do prefer to reside in areas that have water that's not too deep for them. And they don't really like deep channels, but deep enough that they can still be covered with water. So we had a bird question that went out. Catherine, well done on that one. It definitely is a water thickney. The bird that we were in question was we played the call is a water thickney. Well done, Catherine. Also had a collared barbet calling, and I think there's another plover. Baboons. There's a lot happening, so let's just have a quiet moment to listen to all the sounds that are happening around us at the moment. Check out the big elephant bull giving himself a scratch on the fig tree behind there as well. He's got an itchy chin. What a lovely view is this. So yeah, to answer your question, Gary, I do think that obviously the hippos, whichever section of water they reside in, they do generally like to find nice banks that might be comfortable for them. So that bank that they're hanging out on is a nice soft sand bank. So I think that's why they prefer to be on that specific area. But of course, hippo will also try to make sure that not only is the aquatic environment suitable for them, but that there's also enough grass close by to where they are in the water so that they don't have to walk too far in order to get food at night. Just having a bit of a quiet moment, folks, just to take in the sounds around us. A really cool sighting of these hippos sun bathing on this island here. And also, I thought I heard some possibly waterbuck, bushbuck barking and boons also going wild. So let's just have a quiet moment just to enjoy this incredible scenery. Birds calling here. I think one is a house sparrow, but the other one is not familiar with. So, if any of our viewers have any idea what this very loud bird calling is, please send to your comments. All right, folks. So yeah, if you'd like to help me with this bird call, there's two birds calling me. I think one was one of the house sparrows, and there was another bird. I'm not too sure. It's very loud. It's like an emerald spotted dove calling as well. Lovely to see that elephant there. Looks like he was munching away, having a great day. Looks like a perfect leopard tree to our right. Nice jackalberry. Perfect shady place for a leopard to lie up during the heat of the day. And our hippos haven't moved too much. So in this area, we generally look out for some vervet monkeys, or there's often a bushbuck or two that are feeding in this very thick riverine forest area. Um, yeah, sorry folks, seems like we had some challenges with our camera over in Olifant, so now we have linked back across to Tembe Elephant Park. Seems a little bit quiet, but maybe we'll catch some cool and interesting birds. Maybe we'll see our kingfisher again. He made a kill earlier, so it was pretty cool to see the kingfisher making a kill. Here's a crested francolin calling. Does look like the weather has changed quite a bit here in Tembe since we started the show. So we started the show off here at Tembe and it was looking very sunny, very bright, although the weather does look like it has changed a bit. A lot more clouds in the sky. A little bit of the wind seems to have picked up. So maybe there is a storm on the way. Maybe they're going to experience some rainfalls in Tembe Elephant Park. Where is our little kingfisher friend? This was the area that the little brown hooded kingfisher flew down to make a kill. I couldn't see him too well, but yeah, it looked like he had something in his bill. Welcome, welcome, Fuzzy Dunlop. I hope everyone is enjoying their Feathered Friday. So we're doing a Feathered Friday birding list for the day. So far, we are sitting at 27 birds for today, which is not too bad. Yeah, trying to get some migratory birds. We would be cool if we could get some more kingfishers. That would be pretty amazing. But yeah, any migratory birds would be cool. So far, we just got our barn swallows, one of the only migratory birds we've had so far. I mean, of course, we've had the woolly neck storks, pair of woolly neck storks here. At Tembe, so it's pretty cool to get them. They're also palearctic migrants. Oh, looks like there's some movement in the pan. Could be having a scan in this tree. Maybe we'll find an interesting bird or two. So we are having a feathered Friday. I hope at some of the locations on the Sunset Safari they have a feline Friday. Would be fabulous. They get some lions, some leopards over at Juma would be cool. See, there's obviously been lots of elephant activity here recently. Lots of elephants digging in these open areas, having a bit of a mud bath. Maybe from minerals. There's lots of salts and minerals in the soil here in Tembe Elephant Park. That's probably why the elephants here have such long, strong, thick tusks. Probably because of the high mineral content in the soils. What other birds are out there? We've still got our foam nest tree frog. Still looking hopeful. Hopefully those tadpoles, when they erupt and hatch out of that nest, will drop into the water over there. Continue the cycle of a reptile's life. Become transition from being tadpoles to little frogs. This was where our elephant bull, to start off the show, was having a great old mud bath. I must say, I do love the sound of the sombre greenbill. I recently came back from a hike in Magubuskloof in Limpopo in South Africa, and yeah, hearing those greenbills in the forest is always a very special thing to hear. So greenbills generally like to be in very thick wooded forested areas. And yeah, it was really beautiful hearing these greenbills. So two of the really epic bird lifers I had on my last hiking trip, which was really, really cool to see. Two very cute birds was the yellow-throated woodland warbler, which would probably occur here in Tembe Elephant Park. Very tiny little bird, lots of yellow, very confident, and yeah, hops about in the forest understory. And another cool bird life I recently got was the mountain wagtail, which I've never seen a mountain wagtail before. Shucks was pretty surprised. And we actually saw them nesting. They had a nest underneath of like a waterfall. And the water came up, lots of rain, so we were afraid that they were going to get washed out of their nest. But yeah, they managed to survive the night, and they have very cool sound. Just having a scan. What is there? All right, folks, why don't we head across to Lentore and see what else we can find? Whoop. Like we have a blue emerald spotted dove. Namakwa dove? What is that? What birds are calling here? It's definitely a dove of some sort. Um, Whoop. The little wax bills. What are these guys? Just Quelea. Could be a Quelea too. I know I did hear some Quelea earlier. Red-billed Quelea. Ah, so these look like the red-billed Quelea, folks. So we did hear them when we were here at Lentore earlier while we were watching the baboons. There was also a dove calling, very interesting dove. And just before we changed over from Tembe, we got another awesome migratory bird for the day. I had a red-chested cuckoo, which is also an intra-African migrant. Yep, check those little red bills there. These are females. Very vocal, these little Quelea. They do mostly move around in quite big flocks, these red-billed quelea. So it is often also referred to as a weaver, and is one of the most abundant bird species in the world and is native to sub-Saharan Africa. Um, Very interesting little bird. So it's quite small in size, anything from about 10 to 12 centimeters. The males are a little more dark and striking, and can be found in a variety of habitats, including savannas, grasslands, and agricultural areas. There's also a weaver on the right-hand side here. I'm not too sure which weaver it is because it's in Kenya, but could be one of the masked weavers hanging out with the queleas. So these birds are obviously very abundant when they're in their huge big flocks. I know they are considered as a pest in some regions. So yeah, often referred to as a feathered locust due to the ability to completely decimate crops. So in some areas, they actually do use an avian pesticide to manage these birds. So yeah, shucks, crazy to think that birds can cause such damage to crops. Predators of these little birds will, of course, be larger birds of prey. Falcons, hawks, even large snakes will also try to feed on these birds. Obviously, the conservation status, they are of least concern. They're actually overpopulated and, yeah, considered to be quite a fascinating bird, known for both the ecological role as well as being very much a challenge to farmers. I would like to just sit and listen to them and watch them to get these cute little red bills of theirs. Probably some of them have probably just flown into the watering hole, had a bit of a swim. Let's hear them kind of flapping their feathers, giving themselves a clean. Perfect hiding place for them in these acacia trees. So, of course, wherever they do flock in large numbers, they will attract a lot of predators. So Joanne Mellow, yes, it is looking very green in some areas. So lovely to see that the rainy season has arrived, but still in places like Tau Lodge, Rosie's Pan, so parts of kind of northern Africa is still very dry, and even northern parts of South Africa still need to receive quite a bit more rainfall. Look at this little one. This is a juvenile giving himself a clean. Very interesting call we were hearing earlier. I thought it was a dove of some sort, but I've just Googled a list of the doves that do occur in Kenya, and it's definitely not your common suspect. So it's not a ringneck dove, wasn't a laughing dove or namakwa dove, not an emerald spotted, not a red-eyed dove. So a very interesting call there. So I'm going to test out on the Newman's app, see what Newman's has to say. What dove could it be over here in Kenya? Oh, we've got some doves there. So while we are on the dove species, that looks like a ring-necked dove. So another cool dove species to see in West Africa. So some of my favorite was the blue-headed wood dove, the lemon dove, and also the tambourine dove. The tambourine dove is very cool, I must say. It does kind of have a cappuccino look to it, so white on the belly and a very light brown cappuccino color. You do get the tambourine dove in parts of South Africa and Zimbabwe, mostly on the coastal regions. Another very cool little dove species. But yeah, I would definitely give blue-headed dove a Google. It only occurs in very limited habitat of Western Africa. I've got a call here. Let's give it a play. And this call was recorded in Ghana. See a very cool forest dove. But yeah, for now we've got the ring-necked dove here in Kenya. Let's just have a play of a call. What other bird do we have up there? Could be another quelea. Sometimes the juveniles don't quite have their red kind of bill yet. So I think I found the dove I was looking for. I think it's actually the African mourning dove, which does occur in parts of Kenya. So I'm going to play the call here for you. Very cool. Mourning dove, a new dove species for my list today. So far we've got three migrants, and of course two new bird species, which is pretty cool. So a few questions coming through here. Spencer's asking, is it more beneficial for smaller birds to be in flocks? And I'll definitely agree with you there, especially like your waxbills, as well as your firefinches. It's definitely a lot better in larger numbers in order to protect themselves. Same as with antelope and animals, it's always better if there's predators around to be in larger groups and larger numbers. The more eyes, the more ears, the more protection you get. So Chad is also asking a question about how do birds feed on leaves with thorns on them. So often a lot of bird species, so these Aquila, for example, I think they were just coming down to the watering hole, having a quick drink, maybe a little bit of a bath, and then cleaning themselves off up in this acacia tree before flying away. So you can see their feet are very small, very well adapted to sit on these branches, and thorny trees are good protection for small birds like this. So generally, yeah, Quelea will mostly feed on grains and seeds. They don't always feed on the leaves of the trees. So there's kind of lots of birds have different kind of feeding mechanisms or different food that they do feed on, but generally a lot of bird species will feed on grass but mostly like grass and seeds. Oop, what do we have here? Oh my goodness. It's an interesting Lowry. How cool is that? This is definitely a new bird lifer for me. Awesome Kenyan bird. We've got a sparrow there as well. It's very beautiful with that neck of his. Just having a look in my bird app to see which Lowry he is. Have a look if there's any other birds around. So I've just given a quick Google here, and this is the bare-faced go-away bird, which is a new bird lifer for me. And we have our little squirrel friend coming down for a drink. Isn't that just adorable? Would make a beautiful picture with the reflection in the water there. Isn't this little squirrel adorable? So yeah, pretty excited about the new bird lifer for me. So a new lifer for my lifer, and also for my live at the waterhole list. So the bare-faced go-away bird is a species of bird, obviously occurring mainly in the regions of North Africa. So generally Ethiopia, DRC, Kenya, Malawi, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. It generally occurs in open woodlands, thickets, and generally cultivated woodland areas, cultivated scattered trees. Check out this guy. Isn't this such a cute sighting here? Sorry, folks. I think we had our camera there at Tori was giving us some challenges. We've just linked back across to Victoria Falls to see a very dramatic sky. Looks like there's some rain coming in from Zambia. So, yeah, Victoria Falls is my hometown. And on more than a dozen occasions, we have seen the sky building, clouds building up for some rainfall. It gets to the Zambezi River, which separates Zambia and Zimbabwe up in the north, and stops right at the river. And then we are just kind of dry in Zimbabwe. No rain in Victoria Falls, not a drop. But Zambia is pouring with rain. So, yeah, it looks like it could be happening here. Zambia is probably experiencing some rainfall, but very beautiful, dramatic sky here. So Rory, good question, is asking about which part of Africa has the best birding. It's quite a good question. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of birds you're looking to get. For me, again, equatorial Central West Africa for me was an incredible place for birding, amazing bird diversity, lots of very big birds. So it's your same family groups, your hornbills, your bee eaters, your generally same family as cuckoos, but a lot bigger in size, especially with the hornbill species. So, I mean, the birding diversity in West Africa is just out of this world. But I mean, you do get some regions also in southern Africa, even in desert regions that have good birding. So it all depends on what is that next bird on your list, or what kind of birds are you looking to get. What a beautiful setting it is here. Look at that sky. Now, I must say the weather in Victoria Falls can be quite grueling, very humid because of the obviously the mighty Victoria Falls right there, the gorge, all that water, so it can build up, become very humid, and then when it does rain, minutes after the rain is finished, sometimes the sun is out, it's shining again, and it is just as hot and humid as before. So, yeah, generally it's quite cool in Victoria Falls. If it doesn't rain on Christmas, it generally pours with rain over New Year's. So it's kind of always an alternate. 1 year it rains over Christmas, 1 year it rains over New Year's. But this year, I think in lots of parts of Zimbabwe probably have a lot more rainfall, which will be pretty cool. And seems like the rainy season is starting. For me, it's early, but for most people, it's apparently on time. So, yeah, I believe there's already been some rainfall in some parts of Zimbabwe, which is awesome to hear. Still got a few marabou storks and hooded vultures hanging around after the vulture feeding. Got a great white egret there and a yellow-billed stork. Great white egret also hunting. I guess there's a lot of food available in this little watering hole here. A white-browed sparrow weaver also calling. Catherine, thanks for your comment about Rwanda. Yes, I believe Rwanda is an incredible birders paradise and birders hotspot as well. Lots of amazing birds there. I believe you had over 200 birds in 6 days. That's quite a good number of birds. So well done for that. Of course, if I was going to go for another bird species, definitely the shoebill stork in Queen Elizabeth National Park would be one of my top birds I would love to go for. Or I think in Zambia, there is a place in Zambia in South Luango that you can go and find the shoebill stork if you are lucky, but sightings are very rare. Let's watch this yellow-bill stork as he hunts away. Isn't he beautiful? Look how he uses his wing as well as his feet to disturb any fish, cast a shadow, and hopefully scoop up a fish for lunch. There's a black crake, folks. It's just passed in this kind of fallen over mopani tree here. It's a new one for the day. Black crake. We haven't seen our black crake over at Tower Lodge for quite some time. We're actually doing pretty well on our birding list today, folks. I must say we are currently sitting at 38 bird species, and my record for live at the waterhole is actually 40. So we've managed to catch quite a few species in the last couple of minutes, and I think yeah, all our migratory birds are coming back. So we've got some pretty cool species today. Check out this guy hunting. So he must be in breeding season. Must be about because check out the bright pink coloration under his wings. We've got some more wattled water thickney behind our yellow-billed stork here. Oh, We've got our helmeted guinea fowl coming in at bird number 41, folks. So we have just broken our live at the waterhole birding checklist for the day. We're sitting at 41 species of birds for the day. Helmeted guinea fowl coming in at number 41. How cool! Super excited. Did not expect that today. Seems like it has been a fairly feathered, quite a fair feathered Friday. We've had a good luck with our birding friends today. Liverpool bird, thank you for sending in your bird number of 181 birds in 5 months. Sounds like you need to head over to Rwanda and get some more birds on your list. I was quite disappointed with my birding list the other day. I think I'm still missing quite a few species. I think I'm currently sitting on 560 birds as my life list. I know I am probably missing at least 10 or 15. Yeah, we are probably have to go and do some digging. I'm sure I've got a few birds I've missed. But if anyone wants to send in your bird list numbers, I'd love to know what some of our viewers' bird list life lists are at. Catherine, I'd love to know your life list. Joanne Mello, Fuzzy Dunlop, Spusian Cobb, whoever else is watching, please send through your bird life list number. I'd love to know what everyone is sitting at. I know the real professionals kind of hitting 800 to 1,000 birds. That's quite a good number. I mean, those are your real bird nerds that spend a lot of time and a lot of money to kind of get another bird or a few more birds on their list. So, yeah, send through those numbers, folks. How many birds are on your life list? Nope, looks like got some bushbuck, folks. Oh, cool, a little female bushbuck with a little baby. Very cool. I think it's going to rain anytime soon in Victoria Falls here. Looks like they sure are in for some rainfall. Very cute little baby bushbuck. It's always a good sign. So bushbuck are an indicator species, so they do need to have very thick wooded areas in order to kind of survive. So if you see a lot of bushbuck around, you know that there's definitely a lot of good thick habitat for them. How cute, a little African Bambi. Bit of wind there. You can see these not tiny leaves are blowing in the wind a little bit. I'm sure that rain is on the way shortly. I know at Safari Lodge there's a lot of bushbuck that do roam around on the lawns and on the grass there. They are quite tame, so they're probably heading towards the lodge to look for some nice fresh green grass, because as you can see there's not much grass out here. Oh, we've got another bushbuck, a young male. Check it in. How are you, little guy? He's still a youngster, still probably got maybe a year or so, year or two to go until he's reached sexual maturity, but he's getting some nice black coloration there. Do love a mature bushbuck male, very pretty. Really awesome to see that marabou stork hunting there. I mean, the yellow-billed stork hunting there. Maybe if we're lucky, if we look in this vegetation on the right-hand side of the pan, we might find a squawker heron. You do often find squawker herons in this very thick reeded vegetation here. So while birding, it's always very good to know what kind of habitat the birds that you're looking for are in, and that can help you know where to look. And also, if you kind of have a bit of a read up about whether your bird that you're looking for is nocturnal, diurnal, then it can give you a better idea of what time of the day they might be out and about and active. Of course, your very serious birders, your twitchers, they almost yeah, pretty much know everything about the birds that they're searching for. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head across to King's Camp and see what's waiting for us there? Welcome to King's Camp, everyone. So yesterday we started off the show with so many terrapins here at King's Camp. Shucks, there must have been over 20 terrapins all over the place. You can see they're all in the water now, with little noses popping out of the top of the water while our elephant is having a drink. See, very sunny. Looks like quite a hot day over in King's Camp. Looks like a long-tailed starling there, or Meaves starling, coming at bird number 42 on our list for the day. We're doing very well on our Feathered Friday. Probably a young bull on his own. But we have had some pretty cool baby elephant sightings today. Little babies playing with each other, so always lovely to watch. Fuzzy Dunlop, we will keep an eye out for those dancing terrapins. Yeah, there definitely was a whole heap of terrapins here yesterday. I'm not too sure why. Yeah, like I said, maybe it's been quite a few cold, rainy days, and the sun finally came out, so they took the chance to get a bit of sunshine, get a bit of sun rays, soak up that vitamin D. Here we go. Here's one of our terrapins here, swimming right across the bottom of the screen. Maybe if we're lucky, this elephant will come in for a swim. Young adolescent bull learning how to take care of himself in the world. I heard a three-banded plover calling there. Perfect little pan for a three-banded plover to be roaming around. Or maybe it's our three-banded plover from yesterday that vacated Tower Lodge and moved across the country after being chased by a blacksmith lapwing. Puffback calling again, and look, we have our little terrapin. Alrighty, folks, we've got some activity at Founders Lodge, so why don't we head across to Founders Lodge and see what's happening over in the Eastern Cape. What an epic view, folks. I'm just going to let us sit and enjoy this view. It's pretty loud, so let's listen to the rhinos as they flirt away and enjoy the night. White rhino mud party. So a Cape wagtail on the left-hand side. Let's just listen to these rhinos as they roll around in the mud and enjoy themselves on this sunny Friday afternoon. What a cool way to end a Friday on Live at the Waterhole here. So with 4 white rhinos, just enjoying the sunshine, taking it easy, playing in the mud. It's also quite interesting to watch this little Cape wagtail. Every now and then he hops up and seems to be possibly feeding off some insects, might be from the rhino's bodies. It looks pretty sunny in the Eastern Cape. Doesn't look like they're going to receive much rain, although it has stayed pretty nice and green throughout the dry season. Yeah, in Eastern Cape. So I know they are having very misty mornings and yeah, of course, lovely cool days. So this is probably 2 females with their calves. Yeah, just coming down to enjoy the watering hole. Again, so bathing can be a good way for big, thick-skinned animals like this to not just clean off or cool down, but also they cover this mud on their skin to act as a bit of an insect repellent, thick layer to prevent the insects from getting to their skin, and can also be good for obviously exfoliating their skin. So they'll go and rub off against a big tree somewhere close by, and it helps to rub all those parasites off of their skin. So it also helps to protect their skin from the sun on very hot summer days. These 2 youngsters having a bit of a scrap. Just enjoying watching these rhinos. Be lovely for a photo right now with the reflection in the water. Beautiful open plains of the Eastern Cape in the background. Wonderful. Warthog friends are going to come for a mud bath as well. Come and join the rhinos. Now, this is a very popular spot. Anyway, folks, it has been an absolute pleasure being with you today live at the Waterhole. Our Feathered Friday has been pretty successful today. We have ended off the day at 45 bird species for the day. I did manage to get my 2 migrants in, which is pretty cool. The barn swallows, red-crested cuckoo, and of course, I did manage to get a woodland kingfisher in. So that's 3 migratory birds for the day and a new bird lifer for me, the bare-faced go-away bird. So pretty excited, pretty chuffed. Please don't forget to join in on the Sunset Safari coming up next. I look forward to joining you tomorrow here live at the Waterhole. From me and the rest of the Wild Earth team, I just want to say a big thank you for joining us today. Have a lovely day, folks.